And good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Apostate Weekly. I'm your host, James,
And I'm Ryan.
and let's roll that intro. And welcome back, everybody. This week we have some stories in the news to share with you again this week. Uh,
Oh,
I've
yes.
got, well, I think I'll go ahead and start off with my first one here, then, if that's okay with you, Ryan.
Yep. Go right ahead. Knock it out of the park. What you got?
Well, my first one I kind of wanted to get into a little bit because it's quite interesting because Germany has um, erected a memorial to the Jehovah's Witnesses that were persecuted by the Nazis.
Wait, what?
So, yeah,
Wait. Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
waiting. I'm waiting. You told me to wait.
No, sorry. Go right ahead. I need to hear this.
So, I mean, they've been making memorials for other religious groups as well, not just the Jehovah's Witnesses, but
Right.
it's just now that they've gotten to doing one for the Jehovah's Witnesses. So, and the lawmakers on Thursday they backed a motion formally calling the government to support the construction of the memorial in the capital central of Tiergarten Park. And so we know that Jehovah's Witnesses were persecuted during World War II under the Nazi
Mm-hmm.
regime. And I think it's estimated about 1,700 of them were murdered as a result of the concentration camps and everything. The reason, one of the big reasons why I found this story so interesting, let me share my screen with you and I'll show you why this really kind of just rubs me the wrong way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on jwfacts.com here, and this is under the section talking about the Declaration of Facts. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Declaration of Facts was a letter that Rutherford wrote directly to Hitler in support of the Nazi regime, not
Mm-hmm.
going against it. It was in support of it. And
Yeah.
let's just, uh, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to hit
Could
on a
you just
couple of
enlarge it just
points.
a scotch? Just a scotch.
A scotch. How much is a scotch?
It's probably like that much.
Is that good? You need a little bit more?
That's fine. I can.
Probably.
That's fine. I can
Well, let
make my
me.
screen bigger.
No, well, I got still got to think about the viewers too. So
Yeah, I
I'll
can
make it
read it
even
now.
bigger. Okay. So one of the big things it's he's really very anti-Semitic in his writing here because he totally goes on about how the Jews entirely reject Jesus. The most oppressive empire is the Anglo-American Empire. It's
Mhm.
been the commercial Jews of the British American Empire that have built on and carried big business. So he's really touting on about the Jews and the Anglo-American world power, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And, and then it says here that the present government of Germany has declared emphatically against big business oppressors and in opposition to the wrongful religious influence in the political affairs of the nations. Such is exactly our position. Notice how he's siding here very strongly with Hitler's regime. Instead of
Mhm.
being against the principles advocated by the government of Germany, we stand squarely for such principles and point out that Jehovah God, through Jesus Christ, will bring about the full realization of these principles. Okay. And then, um, let's see, as let us remind the government and the people of Germany that it was the League of Nations compact that laid upon the shoulders of the German people the great and the great unjust and unbearable burdens, the League of Nations Compact was not brought forth by friends of Germany. He's really friendly with Germany. And see, this is why,
with their tactics.
and this is why I'm bringing up this story. And I would have brought it up anyways, even if we never had this, because I think the government there is doing a nice thing and doing the right thing and,
Absolutely.
commemorating this. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure that a lot of people don't know, and the government probably doesn't even realize it, because this is almost 100 years ago at this point, that the modern government there probably doesn't realize about this letter that the leaders of Watchtower, aka Rutherford, wrote to Adolf Hitler about his,
commending
followers
them,
being persecuted and commending them and siding with them. And
we
then,
agree with you. The Jews are bad.
Yeah. You're doing the right thing, Mr. Hitler. I mean, and of course, then we all know after Hitler rejected Rutherford and his stance on it, Rutherford sucking up to him, then he went the complete 180 and started attacking them and, mocking them and all that. So,
he got angry when he didn't get the response that he wanted from Hitler.
Exactly. And so, really, it was a very narcissistic, childish tactic that he was using here. And that's what led to the Jehovah's Witnesses being persecuted in Nazi Germany back then.
Right. And that is, I think, that is what my frustration was, is not the fact that people died. Absolutely, people deserve a memorial for what that monster did. But I think we should be very clear exactly how events transpired. That is my only concern, is that behind this, people won't realize that the leader of this organization was pushing people to oppose Hitler, to continue preaching, to continue doing things that would put them in danger, out of spite, if you ask me, out of spite, because he didn't get the response that he wanted. So that's the only reason I'm like, what the F? I hope that they're accurate with the information that they put out. If they put like a number, if they do, like, I just hope that they don't trust the JWs with their information. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's just such, not just a spit in the face of the governments, but really it was spitting in the face of his own people, of his own followers, to do what he did. And Rutherford, I would absolutely say, is responsible for his own followers being persecuted and murdered because of his actions.
Exactly. And I think for a lot of people, that, like, there's so many things that kind of added up, like ARC. I think this letter, there were a few things that were monumental for people waking up, and this is definitely one of the ones I couldn't. I mean, I was just shocked, but it happens. I wonder if they do have a copy of that letter, Jonathan. It's a good question.
I mean, we can always try to find out how to message it to them and get it to them. Because I actually think that should be added to the memorial. I'm not saying I want to slam it in the faces of the victims or anything, but I want anybody who goes to see that memorial to see why the witnesses were persecuted.
I agree with you. I feel like if we have statues, whatever, if they are present, accurate information should be placed there. I'm actually kind of fine with, I don't want to go into a whole thing, but just say, for instance, some of the inappropriate statues that we have here in our country about genocide, let's say, for instance, that still are up. Leave the statue up. Put a more appropriate one beside it, and put a placard that explains exactly who that person was and their truth. And then people won't forget. you remove the statue, people might forget that, oh crap, that's what happened. Leave it there. Let it be an embarrassment. Hopefully we won't repeat the same cycles. That's just my opinion. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
gonna
and
put
I
that.
agree with your comment there, Jonathan, too, because you're right. It's not a sour grapes thing. It's people getting the
Yes,
facts
Jonathan.
of the
Thank you.
matter. It's not us trying to poo-poo on anything. Let's get this facts out there. Yes,
Right.
100%.
What happened was horrific, and a memorial, we should remember what happened so it never reoccurs. Just we
And
want
that's the
accurate
whole
information.
and that's the whole thing with these kinds of things. Right now it's in our history, it's in our past. But if we don't educate people on history and on the past, it's doomed to repeat itself again.
100%. So thank you. That was a really good story. I'm going to take a look at that. I might have to make a video about it myself. On to the next one. So, of course, guess who's back at it again? We have got the Catholic bishop here. His name is Richard Stitka, who was a bishop for 14 years, and he is now retiring 10 years early. And the average retirement age. And you want to guess why?
Was he touching
Inappropriate.
somebody?
Well, he mishandled sexual. I don't know if he has any claims against him, but he knew of many allegations and instances of abuse, and he did not report them. He hid them, and even his leadership skills were questioned. This is what the some of the priests who were under his direction said, that they appealed to the Vatican for merciful relief, citing their own mental health, sparking a Vatican investigation because of his leadership skills and the way he was mishandling abuses. So when he retired, he said it was because of health problems, and all of the allegations that were coming up against him were weighing heavy on his heart and his health.
I think it's more like the health of his wallet.
Right. And the fact that he's been called out for being a creep. One of the abuses that he ignored was of a Honduran immigrant who was seeking asylum here in the US. A priest had locked her into a room, sexually abused her, and the diocese knew of the allegation but took no action, did nothing to this priest, didn't remove him, none of it, until he was indicted. So that just goes to show you why there must have been many priests who were like, okay, yeah, we know that we got some issues, but this is even too far for us. I'm thankful that he finally was removed, but the fact that he's able to retire just grinds my gears.
Yeah, no, I get that because they shouldn't be able to just retire.
Jonathan.
Jeez,
Oh,
Jonathan. The
yeah,
guy, jokester.
I'm kind of the same way. I think that if we let them there and put another one beside it that was more appropriate, I think that would just be so much more profound, and you'd remember it more. That's just my opinion.
Maybe we should start putting up, not big ones, but just these little ones, because we don't want to give them too much attention. Little statues of all these perverts that are in the churches that are abusing kids. Just see how many statues
Right?
would actually be made.
Oh my goodness. Like, yeah, just like if somebody passes away and they'll put like maybe shoes there or something as a marker of how many people may have passed away there. We could do it for the same thing with them, but how many people they've
And all
abused.
those statues should be in dog parks so the dogs have somewhere to piss on.
That just took it to a whole nother level. And I can't say I disapprove. I kind of say go for it. Oh man. Yeah. So again, we're not surprised. This is typical, happens over and over. They always protect their own. That's what the patriarchy does. That's what misogyny does. That's what these religious ideologies protect. That is what they're for. They are there to groom children and to protect the pedophiles. And history will keep repeating until we hold them accountable.
Yes, absolutely.
Down with
I
that.
know, right? We got our comedian. He must be really awake this morning.
I know, Jonathan. Why aren't you here with us? Like, I don't
I
get
know,
it. But
right?
anyway, he must not like us.
I think that's what it really is. Boils down to
Yeah.
that.
You want to go ahead for your next one?
Yeah. So for my next one, this is one of those stories. I hate reporting on this kind of stuff because it's just so. I just don't get these people sometimes.
Egregious.
It's yeah. So in Arizona, Tucson, we have another arsonist who set a Kingdom Hall on fire.
Oh
And this
my.
happened on Saturday. And they
Is
they
it
got
in
the
the
guy.
US?
Yeah, Arizona.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Okay.
they've identified the suspect. They found him on camera approaching the building. So that's how they identified the suspect. Um, they booked him, and if I swore I read somewhere. Oh yeah, right here, right here. That's where it says he is facing 2 felony offenses, 1 count of arson of an occupied structure, and 1 count of aggravated criminal damage. So there were people in this building when he set it on fire.
Come on. What is wrong with people? Like, just
I
unacceptable.
mean, exactly. Like, I understand if you have anger towards somebody that did something to you or whatever, but going and burning property down, committing these felonies is not the way to take
It's not
out your aggression.
productive.
No,
It's not
it's
productive. This
not.
is productive. Educate people. Get them where it
Yes.
hurts. Get them in the public eye. That is productive. Do it in the law system. That is productive. This does nothing but make us look like, you know, we're bad
Well,
when
not
we're
only that,
not.
but it feeds into the Jehovah's Witness persecution complex.
Hmm.
It makes them
That's what I
want
mean.
more.
They just think we're all these lunatics out there. Sorry for the language, but willing to do
And also,
anything violent. It's not
and it just
true.
keeps those people more indoctrinated into these cults when you're doing things like that, because this is an outward show of them being persecuted, so we must stay closer to this organization because this is our salvation, because look at what's happening to us. And
Right.
it's not any of that. It's just an idiot who set the place on fire. That's all that is.
Yeah. Somebody who did a very stupid thing that is going to get them into big trouble. And now they
Yes.
are the a hole.
Yes.
You know, you just turned
But
yourself into the perpetrator. Nice going.
but again, the witnesses who see this will want to blame the apostates and want to blame, our community, thinking how we're demon possessed or whatever. And see, this is what happens when you leave Jehovah. No, this is not what happens. We don't endorse this. We don't encourage this. I want this kind of crap to stop. This is not how you do things. Period.
Yep. I know. I guess part of it could be too, these people are not taught how to deal with their emotions and their feelings. We always just shove everything down. And I'm not making excuses, but I think that it's
No,
kind of obvious in the world that religion, it doesn't help everybody. And if in fact it hurts a lot of people and causes more issues. So in my opinion, it's all just a perfect example of why these religions need to tread lightly with the way they're indoctrinating people. It could get deadly quickly. I mean, they don't care, but
well, I
I'm just
mean,
saying.
another great example is a few months ago when we reported on the Kingdom Hearts shooter in Germany. You know, he went
Yeah.
into a meeting and actively shot up people inside that kingdom. So yes, these are isolated incidents, but still, these are not a reflection of who we are as a community out here advocating for current Jehovah's Witnesses, questioning Jehovah's Witnesses, and also to get this out to the community in large of who they really are on the inside.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yes.
agree.
Sorry about the dog. They do have food, Steve.
The dogs is hungry. They're just
They have
doggies.
food.
Okay, are
I
you
can't
ready
shut them
for the
up.
next?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, let me. So Scientology is back in the news. We've done a few reports on them, and I'm so thankful that they're finally getting the right kind of coverage, because I think we've always seen Tom Cruise and we just think that these guys are cool. They're just in the biz. No, there's something sinister going on in that group. So, anyway, last year, a huge case was brought against the Sea Org for um, basically they're forcing people to go out on these boats, kids, to work, and they exploit them. It's like peonage, and it's breaking all kinds of child labor laws. I mean, you name it. And a woman, well, at the time, a new case is that this year that's been unsealed. It was just recently unsealed, which is why we know about it. Is a 16-year-old girl was working and on Sea Org, and she was abused by somebody. And instead of helping her, they arranged for her to marry her abuser.
Oh, jeez.
Okay?
What pieces
Like, it
of
just, I get
shit.
so incensed when I read this stuff. The lawsuit claims that the organization enabled a culture of sexual abuse through policies created by the founder, L. Ron Hubbard, and that reporting the crimes to law enforcement is prohibited. That sounds very familiar, right? The plaintiff, referred
Mm-hmm.
to as Jane Doe, is represented by attorneys who have previously worked on cases involving sexual abuse. The Church of Scientology has denied the allegations, of course, and called the lawsuit a con job and an attempted shakedown. Meanwhile, they are being charged with extortion, like peony, assault and battery, sexual abuse, heinous crimes. And again, while this is horrific for anybody to go through, I am so thankful that these survivors are coming forward and they are putting this into the public eye, because people need to understand what truly goes on inside these organizations. So yeah, horrific. They would force her and encourage her to marry her abuser instead of rescuing her.
And what's even more sinister about this whole thing is that next line right there, where, and I've seen Leah Remini talk about this on her show,
Love Leah.
Scientology and the Aftermath. And right there in the next line it says, however, in a 1968 book called Introduction to Scientology Ethics, Hubbard wrote that reporting Scientologists to civil authorities constituted a high crime. So in their own policies, they say, no, don't report to authorities because, it's a crime against us if you do it.
Yeah.
But then they try to tell the public the bullshit. Oh, no, we don't discourage them from doing it. It's the same bullshit that Jehovah's Witnesses like to pull for their members.
Yes. It's that double talk. It is.
Yep.
They talk out both sides of their mouth. They say one thing and they are very, as much as they have like third grade teaching skills, they are clever with their words. They know how to play it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if people truly watch and read and look, they know it's obvious to see. But for most people, just a video here, there, you'd never notice it. But yep, double speak.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. So that's that. Thank goodness these survivors are speaking up. I'm so proud of them.
Yes, they are. And that is wonderful. It takes a lot of courage for them to do that. And that's again, because that article said she's now in her 40s. And so think of how much time has passed from the time she was
Right.
16 to being in her 40s. And to finally get the courage to speak up. That is why, and I know we've been hitting this nail on the head so much the last several weeks, but that is why we need to have laws to remove the statute of limitations on
Exactly.
these kinds of crimes. And that's why we keep pushing for that, because these victims need to have justice. It doesn't matter if it happened to them when they were 16 and now they're in their 70s, or 16 and now they're in their 20s. They need
Yep.
justice no matter what.
Agreed. I agree. Yeah. That's why we got to keep in touch with our lawmakers. And it's our local ones, our local elections. We've got to pay attention to that state stuff because they
Yes.
are the ones who are making these laws for us about, victims and whatnot. So,
And what was that
yeah.
website again? Rain.org?
Yeah, I believe rainn.org has a lot of information as to what different laws are. I think you might even be able to compare um, different states between each other just to see what the laws look like.
So, for those of you who are curious, here's what the website looks like that you can go on to, and you can find out about your own local politics and laws, right, on
And
these
helpful
issues,
information
and
too.
helpful information. So please go to that website and, learn about the policies and laws in your area and see what you can do to support and find out if you can help get the laws changed and everything too.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure our local lawmakers, I mean, I know they do. When I call, I usually get thanked. They usually are like, "Thank you so much for caring." I'm like, "You're welcome." Like, I was such a good girl.
here's your treat. Here's your treat.
Here's some treat. Yeah. I've been actually thinking about that myself, just getting more involved in maybe I just my temper is a little off kilter yet still, so I get worried about dealing with high stress issue. I'm not like like, dude, you just don't know. You just don't know. So, but I'm thinking about it. It could be good for me. It could be good to start stretching my legs. So,
Yeah, and let me tell you, because having grown up with witness, never getting involved in politics, never voting, never really caring about what is going on
yeah.
because of that, it is a very daunting task. And I still have a lot to learn when it comes to politics.
Oh my
And
god,
so
dude.
for anybody watching who's like, oh my gosh, I feel so overwhelmed by it, I do too. I
Me
promise you, I
freaking
do too.
too. I feel like a
So
ding dong. I'm like, how do I not know this? Like, how do I not know how the government works? Oh, it's really infuriating at times, but you're never going to figure it out if you don't try, and it doesn't matter if you make mistakes because you just like
I
keep
mean,
moving. We don't have to be perfectionism comes from trauma, and that comes from being indoctrinated. So
and if and even if you can't
fight through
study
it.
every candidate that you want to find out that aligns with your beliefs and everything like that, at least try to find the ones that align with you the most. And sometimes it's just a matter between Democrat or Republican, as far
Mhm.
as who aligns with you more, and you just vote for that one, even if you don't know a whole lot about them, because you know
Yeah.
that they at least align with some of what you believe. So just get out there, start doing it, and then the next time around, try to do a little bit more research, and then keep building upon that. And over time, you'll have it. I won't say you'll have it down, but you'll have a better knowledge than you did at the beginning.
Yep. How do you eat an elephant?
So with
One
a
bite at a
fork.
time. Please don't eat elephants. But yeah, everyday baby steps. That's basically it.
That's like that movie. What about Bob? Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps.
Oh, you just
Remember
saw
that?
that? It was really good, wasn't it? Yes. Yeah, baby steps, baby steps. The Rebecca Vardy
Yes,
documentary was really good. It got
yes,
a lot
it
of
was.
people talking because I saw other people talking about it who aren't even like JW creators and whatnot. I was like, do 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 da 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 dee dee dee, just like that. That's all I
Well,
have for today. I don't know if you have anything.
no, that's all I had too.
Okay.
You know, when I saw that article on Germany, I wanted to make sure I brought up the Declaration of Facts as well for that, because I
So,
thought that was
yeah,
very important
that
to go
was
along with it.
thank you for doing that. It
So,
is super important. I've made other videos on it, but I mean, there's just so much to cover. So the more that we just kind of bring these things back up and get people knowledgeable about it, the better. So yeah, that was
yep,
a really good, important piece of information, pertinent to what they're doing. Very.
yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, then we'll leave it at that. So, if you can, everybody, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Helps with the algorithms, helps get the show out there to bring more people in, so we can educate more people on these topics. And
And
go ahead.
if you ever have a story that you would like us to cover, you are more than welcome to. Is it probably best to just put it in the comments? What do you think is the best way?
Well, they can
I'm
always.
terrible with checking my email if people haven't
Well,
noticed. So,
well, I have an email for the channel. It's apostateweekly@gmail.com. So
okay.
if you ever have anything you want to email, I will check it. I do check it. So please feel free to email it. I'm better than Ryan. No.
Yeah, no, that's great though. Yeah, so if you have anything you'd like us to cover, you might see something come across your Facebook page or something in regards to high control religion, religion in the news. We are down to share it. So yeah, please send it along.
Yes. And with that being said, we thank you everybody for joining us again this week, and we will see you all again next week. Y'all have a wonderful week.
Apostate your way. Listen to Baby Bless.
Peace.